We're here on Art Now and Here with Glendora Folsom of A Chat with Glendora fame and going out throughout the Glendora broadcasting system. How you doing this morning, Glendora?
Superbly. And how are you doing, dear Drew?
I'm doing pretty good. Looking forward to getting through this winter here in one piece.
And how are you people at home?
Everybody's fine. Yeah,
at home?
it's like we're all going through this winter and hopefully the tail end of this COVID all together and looking for a new sunny day,
Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, folks.
That's what we need to hear. Stay on the positive side of the street.
Yes. Eliminate the negative.
Yep.
Accentuate the positive. Eliminate the negative.
Don't mess with Mr. In Between.
You told me how old you were.
That song, I tell you a funny story about that, Glendora. There was a band called NRBQ. And when I was in my misspent youth, we went to a bar called the Chicken Box up on Nantucket Island in Massachusetts. So NRBQ, and they did a cover of that song that was one of my favorite songs they did. And I've heard it in a variety of different forms, but it's still my favorite song, the NRBQ version. And NRBQ is still touring, actually. They're still a going entity, although, they don't have all their original members.
Folks, do you remember that Bing Crosby made a recording of that?
Okay, so that's the one you remember is the Bing Crosby version.
Yeah, he made a recording of it.
Right. We had a band here in the studio recently that had a song called Positive that was sort of, the lyric was very, it's funny that you mentioned that because just this past week we had a band in the studio here at SEC TV in Waterford for a show. It's called Grandma's Attic, and it's live local bands come in and do a show. And they did a version of a song called Positive that sort of had a lyric that was kind of a variation on that, which was, boycott the negative. That's how, and it was, accentuate the positive, boycott the negative. That's how dreams come true. So it's funny you mentioned that today.
Hear no evil, see no evil, and speak no evil.
Well, we definitely need to keep a positive attitude about things, for sure. That's one of the things you're really great about, Glendora. I think it's kept you in good stead here for years, keeping a positive attitude. And I love your outfit, and it's very Christmassy, but Christmas is all good too.
Oh, okay, Drew.
That's great. That hat and everything. It looks beautiful on Zoom too.
How's the economy? Oh, thank you, Drew. How's the economy down there these days?
Well, by all accounts, we're dealing with a lot of this economic ramifications of all this, inflation and whatnot. But I think we'll be all right. I mean, I've been lucky. I've had a job all through COVID, so I count myself among the lucky in that regard.
And what happened to New London TV?
Well, there was a changing of it's, as I jokingly say, there's just a lot of moving parts because Atlantic Broadband, who was the company that I was working for, spun off the public access operations to SEC TV, which is who I work for now, and you can see the logo.
Southern Connecticut Community Television.
Yeah, SEC TV. And so we're a 501c3 now. So I went from working for a multinational corporation, Cogeco, which was the parent company of Atlantic Broadband. They're based actually in Canada. And now I'm working for a 501c3 that's here based locally, which as you probably know, is sort of one of the ways that public access is changing. Some of these, cable operators are spinning off the public access operations to 501c3. So we're going through that right now, but I'm sort of the mind that hopefully we can help make public access more relevant and increase the
Well,
broadcasting opportunities for people. It's still the most democratic form of television.
I can tell you folks that Newtown is going great. The rest of you down there are very, very healthy.
Yeah. How's everything from some of the other places you put out a chat with Glendora? Like we talked about it in our last interview, Manhattan Cable Television. Would you ever hear much from them?
Manhattan, Bronx, Brooklyn, Staten, and Queens are the 5 biggest ones in the United States, and they're all very strong. And what made them strong actually was this virus, because the municipality had to depend upon them so heavily to get out the information.
Yeah, that's a story you didn't hear much about, was during COVID and what the role of public access television may have been for some of these systems in COVID.
And I want to tell your audience that if they liked our show tonight, Drew, tell all their friends. And if they didn't like it, keep it our own little secret.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. I appreciate it. And this is now the 3rd show we've done. And you were the one who was suggesting it had become a series. So it's sort of becoming that.
Yes,
thanks to Zoom.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
And remember folks, that a Chat with Glendora is trying to get out the message with every show that when everything is done and over with, the only thing that really mattered was how did you treat others, right, Drew?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's that goes a long way, because the scripture says, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And that's a pretty straightforward idea. It's not a lot of gray area.
And Reggie agrees with us.
Yeah. Oh, Reg and I are here. Mary Jane retired, and she's doing well. And yeah, we've had a little bit of a change here, but we're carrying on. And that's, like I said, some of the producers are coming back now too, because a lot of them were a little leery of doing interviews during the COVID and everything. But here, at least in Connecticut, it seems to be loosening up a little bit, and people are coming out and a little more inclined to do live shows now.
Drew, do you want to hear the other TV stations in Connecticut that a Chat with Glendora is on?
Sure.
Danbury, Seymour, Carmel, Westchester, New York, Norwalk, down there by you, Newtown, Willimantic, Cheshire, Meriden.
Cheshire, okay.
Yep.
That's the northern part of the state.
Yeah.
And then of course you got the Southeast covered with the SEC TV franchise based out of Groton, but that franchise goes to 5 towns, and I think I got them right now. It goes to Stonington, North Stonington, Groton, Voluntown, and Ledyard. And when you're talking about Groton, you're really talking about Mystic and Noank. And when you're talking about Stonington, you're talking about Pawcatuck. So within those towns, those 5 towns I mentioned, Groton, Ledyard, Voluntown, Stonington, North Stonington, there's some pretty well-known towns that actually are boroughs of.
And I don't want to forget the great big one, which is Norwalk. That's
yeah.
Stanford and Greenwich.
Oh, you're down in Stamford too, huh?
Yeah, and Greenwich and Norwalk.
Oh, great. That's
And
great.
folks,
That's pretty much the whole state of Connecticut. There's
oh, pretty
Hartford.
much.
Are
Yeah,
you in,
pretty
you're not in
much.
Hartford or
Oh
Bridgeport?
yes, oh yes. Hartford, West Hartford, and East Hartford.
Yeah. So you got a big concentration, and then I'll go all the way out to San Diego.
Folks, do you want to hear something funny? You want to
Sure.
hear something funny, Drew?
It wouldn't be an interview with Glendora without a
My
couple jokes. I know I'm going to hear some jokes.
my friend Sandy was talking to me on the phone and asking me what did I want her to bring me. And Sandy said to me, how many people are you anticipating eating? And I said, well, I'm not anticipating eating any people.
So Glendora, how about it? Do you have another joke, Andy?
The sign in the restaurant window said, don't make fun of our coffee. Someday you'll be old and weak too.
Oh, I need a good
And,
cup of coffee. I appreciate that one.
and the man came into the restaurant and he said, is the chef in? And the waitress said, no, he went out to eat.
That's not a good sign. That's not a good. I've worked in restaurants too, where the kitchen staff was ordering out for pizza all the time. Not a good sign. Hey, Glendora, I wanted to touch base with you about one of the things you advocate for, which is veganism. And what got you started on veganism, and what is your frame of mind about veganism in today's world?
First of all, folks, veganism. What is veganism? What is a vegan? A vegan is a person who doesn't want to harm anybody. A vegan wants to live without harming anybody. There's a Bible passage in there. It's be ye therefore harmless and blameless as a child of God without rebuke. We must live harmlessly. We mustn't hurt anybody.
Right. And how long have you been a vegan for?
Ever since 1962.
Really?
So a vegan doesn't eat any animal products, it doesn't wear fur, and doesn't do anything to harm anybody.
Right. And how about dairy? Do you consume dairy products?
And every time, folks, that you go to the supermarket and you lay down your money to buy meat, you are asking people to terrorize and agonize poor little animals, defenseless animals, who are beaten up and clubbed and kicked and brought up in urine and feces all their lives with no clean place to go wash themselves. That's
Right.
what you're promoting every time you go to the supermarket or go to a restaurant.
And there's the health benefits. So your primary concern is for the animals, and also how about the health benefits too for somebody who eats that more simple diet?
Well, I don't. Yeah, are you saying that we like to help people, Drew?
Yeah.
Yeah, we want people to live. Glendora is 93 years old, no doctors, no medicine.
Right. Yeah, and so you've spent more than half your life as a vegetarian now.
Say again, Drew.
You've spent more than half your life as a vegetarian.
Oh yes, yes. I wish I'd spent the whole of it.
Right.
Well, right.
Glendora, yeah, I was gonna say I appreciate you doing this interview. We'll do another one real soon. I don't want to have Carol too strained there holding down the camera for you.
Yes, I want to thank our friend Carol for holding that camera for her. I have a selfie a tripod, folks, but I can't see to set it up. I've yet to learn that.
Okay.
But
'Cause-
Carol, thank you for holding this for 25 minutes.
You're welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Carol, and thank you, as always, for being the technical advisor on the end for Glendora.
You're welcome.
Definitely. Thanks so much. So Glendora, we'll do this again, and I'll make sure to get this back to you and edited here in a week or so. Could you send me an SD card like you did before that, or that same one that I sent back to you?
Yes. And Drew, why did the prince ask his daddy to go to kindergarten with him?
Say that again. Why did the prince ask his father to go to kindergarten with him?
That's it. Why did the prince ask his daddy to go to kindergarten with him? Because the teacher said, bring a ruler to school.
I guess that filled the bill.
Thank you for what you're doing for the world, Drew. Thank you very, very much. You work hard and you deserve applause, 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 applause.
Thank you so much, Glendora, and right back at you. Okay, I appreciate it. I know everything you're doing to get the great spirituality and some of the causes that you advocate out throughout the Glendora broadcast system.
May the Lord bless you all and keep you, and may his light shine upon you. Amen.
Thanks so much, Glendora. Appreciate it as always, and we'll do it again real soon, okay?
Yes.
Thanks so much. Signing off, over and out to the SS Glendora. Thanks so much, Glendora. Thanks, Carol.
For that.
Sorry, the phone fell.
Well, we'll have to edit that out.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.